What up, though? I'm Donald Pump, the middle-aged muscle man musician. Quickly, hit subscribe. Got over 98% of you guys that watch my videos, even repeatedly, haven't subscribed. You need to do that because I don't think YouTube likes the fact that I have to kind of drop a whole bunch of videos at one time. There's big breaks in between my video uploads, in case you guys haven't noticed. That's because of a schedule that I have to keep. I work 7 days a week, basically 9 shifts. In addition to subscribing, consider giving a couple of dollars to the Cash App. The reason I have the Cash App is because I haven't set up the Patreon for this account yet. I want to be able to give tiered stuff to where I'm providing you guys with stuff like behind the scenes and in-depth training stuff and, things like that. In this case, with the Cash App, throw me a couple bucks to get a little energy going for the crazy schedule or whatever the case may be. And what I'll do is cover whatever topic you want me to. You can give your name, whether it's in a YouTube comment or it's left in a little description thing on Cash App, and just the subject that you would like me to cover. I can cover a little bit of everything. There's obviously some things that I know better than others, so if you have like 2 topics, go ahead. If you want me to expound on something I already have, I'll do that too, whatever you need. So, all that being said, we're going to talk about another supplement today. And it's one that I really can't figure out. Is it known and used by bodybuilders for the simple fact that bodybuilders kind of stay up on the best new supplementation and things like that? Or is it lesser known because of certain stigmas that may be attached to it and people don't see any benefit of it as far as bodybuilding goes? And what we're talking about is Kratom. And as always, not a doctor. Don't even have my nutritionist certification yet. I'm just a guy who's tried a lot of things and kind of documented my results with them so that I can present those results to you and you can decide which way to go with things. So, at least to me and people that I know, Kratom and drug addiction are kind of intertwined. And what I mean by that is a lot of addicts tend to use Kratom to help them get off of narcotics. It's a part of their recovery. Or other people who've been around a lot of addicts and have chronic pain and anxiety and stuff like that, or even ADD, tend to turn to Kratom so that they don't end up like that friend or loved one who is addicted. And it's kind of a deterrent for them. It works differently for everybody, just like anything. But I do like the fact that Kratom kind of covers the entire pharmacological spectrum. So, pain and inflammation. There's a Kratom for that. Focus and energy. Kratom for that. Rest and anxiety. Mood enhancement. Appetite suppression. Just about everything. So, I won't go into a long, drawn-out thing about what the different strains, colors, veins, whatever they want to call it, what they basically work for. I'll just give kind of a summary from what I've seen and what I've read. The reds, the red Kratom are normally going to be kind of like pain relievers, maybe a little anti-anxiety, a little improved rest. The whites are going to be, immense amounts of energy, some focus, things like that. The greens are kind of in between. And I know it gets more specific than that, but that's just kind of like an overview. There's different combinations you can use, obviously. I believe that Kratom is extremely beneficial for people on a fitness journey or bodybuilders. The ones I've tried mainly are kind of geared toward pain relief, rest, for my recovery, inflammation, anxiety. So I've tried a lot of the reds, like Red Borneo, Red Bali, Red Mangda. Recent one, Red Dragon, which I believe was Thai. Yeah, all these things, essentially the Kratoms, when you hear like Red Bali, obviously the second part of that, the second part of the title is where the plant was harvested, I guess. I've tried Red Hulu too, which kind of defies the whole red is more like a downer or anti-inflammatory thing. The Red Hulu is actually very good for focus and gives you a boost of energy. I mean, it's more of one of the kind of upper ones. So obviously, with all those things, laid out before what kratom is actually good for, it's obvious. It's good for a fitness journey. Recently, I started taking one called Red Dragon. That one in particular is extremely good for pain, extremely good for anxiety, but can make you a little bit sleepy. And one thing I warn you guys about, you may be a person who heavily uses one type of kratom every day or something, or close to every day. So then you start a new strain. It's maybe even the same color, and you take that the same amount that you're used to, and it hits you really, really hard. So they are different from each other. Your body recognizes them differently. So the red dragon, if you see that, or some sort of red tie, that right there is going to be very good for pain killing and as an anti-inflammatory. It's really helped with my rotator cuff stuff in the last couple of days. It's helped me sleep better. You may get a little bit groggy, a little prematurely exhausted if you take too much of it at first. So you just got to kind of, meter yourself. The red mangda is kind of maybe our favorite, or one of our favorites in our house. That one helps with, as an anti-inflammatory. It also helps with anxiety and mood enhancement. It's just not as heavy as the red dragon. Red Borneo is right there as a pain reliever. Doesn't really do the whole thing where it makes me tired. Maybe has more mood enhancement property than the Red Dragon and the Red Mangda. I've taken Red Bali, which is close to a Borneo. I just think the Borneo maybe helps with pain a little bit better. I've done Trainwreck, which is like a combination of like 13 different strains. That's something where it kind of gives you a positive from each of the different types. So if you're trying to target a specific thing, you may not get relief from that. But what you will get is a little bit of everything and a good bang for your buck. And the Red Hulu, as I said earlier, that one there is great for somebody like me who has ADD. I'm able to focus much, much better taking that. I mean, seriously, like, I was prescribed Adderall in the past. And I mean, this is almost as good as that in small amounts. And speaking of amounts, I'll get into the amounts right now. You'll see take X amount of capsules. You'll hear a lot of people say the efficacious dose or starting dose even of any type of given kratom. I think they say it's like 3,500 to 4,000 milligrams. That seems like a lot to me. Whenever it says take, even when you first start taking it, take 4 capsules at a time. They're 500 milligrams. So you got 2 grams there. That was actually kind of heavy for me at first. And I have a high tolerance for things, so I don't know. I would just take a couple of them, see how they work for you, after an hour or so. It takes like an hour or so for it to really work. And then see how it goes from there. Take some more. I will say that I'm doing it the stupid way. We're buying the capsules. The capsules are far more expensive. The best thing that you can actually do is buy the powder at a fraction of the cost, and then go on Amazon and buy veggie caps and cap them yourself. Or you could throw the stuff down, drink some. It tastes freaking horrible. That's one of the negatives. I mean, it's bad. You want to make sure you have enough liquid to wash this stuff down. And hey, there's a good segue. Speaking of washing it down, I guess, as far as side effects go, when you first start taking it or first start taking a different type, you're probably going to experience a little nausea if you take too much or if you're dehydrated. So I would be careful with that. Eventually, it just goes away. I mean, after a couple of weeks, you won't even experience it if you're in a jam and you're a little dehydrated. You can stop and get a water or something. I mean, you're fine. But at first, just look out for that. Combinations with other supplements. Number one, you want to take it with magnesium if you can. You're probably taking magnesium anyway if you have a supplementation protocol. It makes the kratom work better, last longer. Combinations with, say, Tonkat Ali. Now, as always, I'll leave the discount code link below. I've been using a Tonkat Ali that's been amazing for me, better than the one I had taken before that. It's made by Akarali, and I take it regularly with kratom, and I have absolutely no problem. If anything, they really complement each other. The worst thing that's happened is I've taken a lot of Tonkat Ali with like the kind of more upper kratom, and I've gotten like maybe a little overly euphoric, like manic for like a half hour or something like that. That's just like probably like a serotonin rush or something. It's fine with turkesterone. Had no issues with that either. As far as like testosterone levels, I've heard that kratom can boost your test a little bit. I mean, obviously, it's going to help you sleep. It's going to give you maybe better dietary practices, mood enhancement. So yeah, it can help in a roundabout way, off-label way, if you want to call it that. But I'm not sure if it just straight up raises free testosterone in your body. I have no idea, but I have heard that. So you may want to kind of reference some medical studies or something for that. The price is very good if you're taking a reasonably kind of a middle of the line amount. I mean, you're going to probably spend like $20 a week or something like that. I'm assuming it's going to be significantly less with the powder. I mean, probably more like $6 a week or something. It's that much of a difference. As far as libido goes, there's probably a little bit of a boost to the libido. I mean, maybe some are a little different than others. Maybe your hormonal profile will cause you to react differently to those things. I take kratom with very mild psych meds, and I've never had an issue with it. I don't know how you would react if you're on something much stronger, but that's been good. I can't complain about that. I have had addiction problems in the past, like I said, and kratom does help with withdrawal symptoms. It does tend to kind of keep your mind off of things, even like smoking and stuff like that if you smoke, or if you quit smoking and you're trying to keep it that way. It does help with anxiety. It's actually remarkably good for that. So I have like almost nothing but positives to say about kratom in terms of how it can help you on a fitness journey, can help you with bodybuilding. If people know negatives, leave it in the comments below. But I would say, because it runs the whole pharmacological spectrum, like maybe this is the conspiracy theory and a theorist in me, but I feel like the reason why it's hard to get in some states, and you may even see some studies that seem to be skewed toward being negative on kratom, I think it's because it kind of gives certain pharmaceuticals a run for their money. That's just my take on it. Kind of like a BPC 157 might make me go to my specialist a couple less times a year, that sort of thing. So I would definitely give it a try. As far as the turkesterone goes, you guys know I've been taking the Black Forest. The Black Forest has been phenomenal. I only got to take one pill a day. There's a link down below for that too. No problems taking that with kratom. I've experienced kind of like this great mood, especially when I eat particularly well with my kratom combination and the turkesterone. But who knows where that's coming from. But it has happened a couple of times. The negatives, the dangers, I'll call it. But in all seriousness, you do get physically dependent on kratom if you take it every single day. I stupidly have taken it every single day, I believe, for almost a year now. And you do suffer withdrawal symptoms if you stop taking it abruptly. It is what it is. And that's not just coming from me. That is something I've heard from a lot of people. You want to taper off of it. But better yet, you kind of want to cycle it. Maybe take it like every 3 or 4 days, take a few days off, that sort of thing. You don't want to get dependent on it. Taking it for a few days in a row won't do that. And also, obviously, you're going to get a better bodily response for it if you do it that way. Also, you can do it in a way to where kind of like I do, kind of like how I work in with my other supplements. There's certain days where, I can do without it because I'm taking this other thing, and I cycle everything out. I do have some suggestions in different videos for that too. So I'd be very careful of that. And something I'll add on that I haven't seen anyone talk about, but it's my experience and I definitely need to say it. Let's say you take a ton of red Mangda every day. The place you go to is out of it, so you get like red Bali or something. If you start taking the red Bali the next day, you would think that your withdrawal from the original kratom is going to be gone because kratom's kratom, right? But it won't be. You'll have a little bit of an underlying edginess. You won't feel your best. It's really only 100% satisfied if you either take, I don't know enough about the different veins of it, but you either take the exact same one or one that's very, very close. I mean, it'll wear off after a couple of days. It's no big deal. But giving you guys a warning that if you're like me and you hate being dependent on anything, just be careful with it. Cycle it. Like right now, I'm tapering off of it. Now it is reasonably easy to taper off of, but I don't like being dependent on things. I don't like being like, oh shit, I left it at home when I'm going to work and that sort of thing, and panicking and having a shitty day. So I'm tapering off of it, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. But in the comments, let me know what your experience with kratom of different types, what your experiences have been, positive and negative. And if you know of any really good videos, link people to them. I'm just giving you my own anecdotal experience. I've got some more videos coming as far as updates for the Tonka Ali, physique updates, and the Black Forest turkesterone, and also the combination of that with the Tonka Ali. And like I said, as always, there are discount codes in the description. I don't get paid to tell you that. These are just quality products that I've come across. I'm on a very, very tight budget, so if I can kind of lead people towards stuff that's going to be more cost effective than some of the other stuff out there, I'm going to do that. I've also been doing a very specific training split and stuff like that, so I'm going to do a video on that pretty soon. But anything you got to say, anything you want to suggest, leave me a comment down below. And I guess that's it for now. I'll be cranking out a few more like I always do and kind of vanish like a damn phantom, but I'll always be back. And on that note, I say peace.